can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sand. And right now, I feel like 100 grand.
You are listening to Inspired Insider with your host, Dr. Jeremy Wise.
Dr. Jeremy Weiss here, founder of InspiredInsider.com, where I talk with inspirational entrepreneurs like the founders of P90X, Atari, the legendary infomercial king Ron Popeil, many more, how they overcome big challenges in life and business. Our sponsor today is Rise25.com, where entrepreneurs of 6, 7, 8-figure businesses come together live and in person every few months, solve their biggest business challenges, and leave with lifelong friendships. Check out Rise25.com. It's run by myself and co-founder John Corcoran. It's application only. Today I'm very excited. There's some people when they do interviews, they want to interview Oprah or Elon Musk. For me, on my list, no joke, Ed, was Ed O'Keefe. And you will see why in a minute. Today we have Ed O'Keefe. He's father of 7, grew up in a household of 13 children. He's author of the book Time Collapsing, The New Art of Speed, Money, Power, and Meaning. He's used his time collapsing methods to leap to the top of industries, and he's started multiple companies from scratch to multiple 7 and 8, even 8-figure businesses. In dentistry, he sold over $50 million in marketing systems and seminars. He started Marine Essentials and has sold over $60 million in health supplements. And this is all with 7 kids. One of the most impressive things about Ed's resume is Kokoro 40 graduate. 51-hour mini Hell Week created by Commander Mark Devine. Crazy stuff, which we'll talk about. And he has a podcast, the EdO'KeefeShow.com. Check it out. He's also an investor in NoFoods.com, which is a health food company that is disrupting the food industry. Ed, thank you for joining me. There's a couple things that I find interesting about Dentist Profits. One was the way you came up with it. 2 was this the time where you were getting really into learning and writing copy? At what point did that happen? Because I think that's a skill set. I consider you, even though you don't consider yourself a copywriter, I consider you one of the top people who writes copy.
Thanks, dude. Yeah.
So who are you studying at the time? And
the sales copy for my mental toughness business, right? And then, so I had to get up. I mean, it was all about sales copy back then, and it still is in some ways now.
It is 100%.
You know, whether it's video or audio or
whether you want to sell your book, I mean, all of it's copy. Yeah.
And so, and quite frankly, that opened up a lot of doors, because at the age of 27, I looked like a pro on paper.
Who were you learning from at the time?
Jeff Paul, Dan Kennedy, Gary Halbert, John Carlton. And just handwriting sales letters in the morning, then typing them out, and I mean, that was my system. And then, what I didn't really understand back then, Jeremy, was I didn't understand cash flow management like I wish I did. The dental niche, our cost per lead was so much higher than what the chiropractor was experiencing or what the regulator was experiencing.
Really?
Yeah. And I think that's because in a chiropractic office, still to today, you can send a direct mail piece to a chiropractor's office and chances are he's going or she's going to open it, or it's going to get to them. And in a dental office, there's more gatekeepers, I think.
Right? 100%.
Yeah. So
well,
I think
1, I'm a chiropractor. 2, my dad's a dentist. So I can tell you there's a lot more gatekeepers in the dental office for sure.
Yeah, zero question. So I think that's one of the key things as well.
The other thing I found interesting, Ed, was when I was doing the research, 2 things that did the best in the Dentist Profits, which I wanted you to talk a little about, is 2 niche coaching clubs.
Yeah, niche coaching clubs. So this is the thing where the secret to I'll tell you, I was on the phone with a client right before I got on this call. Yeah. And he's got a product that's working, and he's telling me about a new product he's going to create to a different market. I was like, dude, stop. You have something that's working. You need to drive it out and find out what else they want. And what I think most people underestimate is the level of effort that's required to push the boulder uphill
Right.
to get it to start moving downhill.
Right.
And so I had probably gone 2 years into the dental business where I was making money, but I was still like, it was month to month. And it's when I started figuring out, like, I started listening to my clients, and they would say something like, kind of like, wouldn't it be great, very much like the freedom question, if you were able to just train our staff for us? And I was like, all right, cool. And then a consultant came around that I really liked. We got along great. So we started a business together. That business was a total smash. And then I started noticing all my most successful clients came from a particular niche, like of dentists, like a specialty.
Like implants or something like that.
They were general dentists who also did implants.
Yeah.
And so I created an entire coaching program just for that niche. And that was a smash hit,
Yeah. I could tell, like, obviously the time collapsing is your passion right now. When I go to the dentist practice, it's like, I don't care about talking about this.
Yeah,
but I think there's a couple key things in there that I think are important that you use now.
That's right. Like, if you look at the chapter in my book called "The Ghost of Your Past Self,"
Yeah.
the guy back then was a ghost. Like, that guy does not exist anymore. He was a trail that I've left behind, And so
the concepts live on, though. Like, from your motivational speaking days, the NLP stuff lives on. The copywriting lives on.
Yes.
Doing the niche, like, your mastermind is specifically niche to people who have health businesses.
No, it isn't.
Well, one of them is.
Well, it started off that way,
Yeah.
but then when I started meeting guys that wanted to be in the mastermind, they weren't health guys. Maybe you didn't know this, but then we opened it up. So here's the other thing.
Yeah.
We started realizing that there was a lot of guys who didn't even know that they should have a health division of their business, who were selling, like, say, survival stuff or e-commerce widgets, like,
Right.
and they should be in the health business, but they didn't even know they could. And all of a sudden, they're in the health business, and they're instantly profitable because they added a health department. We have a guy who's like a med spa clinic who now has a health division. And he's like, well, we were just giving, like, vitamin D shots or whatever they were doing in the, blood transfusions. I'm kind of joking, but like, so now the opportunity for everybody expands. So I get bored, and so like, there's people that look in the past and they live in the past, and that's okay. I really am future focused, and there's pros and cons to that. The con is that sometimes you don't drive out what is a big opportunity sitting right in front of you because you're like, yeah, but that's who I was, in the past,
Yeah.
I mean, I literally could go back in the dental profession and do exactly what I was doing, update it to this day, create a story around, well, I'm back and I have all this new stuff, and we could very quickly ignite excitement,
Yeah, because I mean, at that time, at the height, it was $6 or $7 million, and most people would just be 100% happy with that. And then you shifted to Marine Essentials.
I shifted, but there was also market forces happening that were affecting those businesses. Just so everyone knows, I didn't just close down and jump ship. It was right around 2009, so 2008, everything crashed, and dentists were no longer spending money on group coaching clubs like they probably are today. They're probably back doing that. And I knew that I either, A, had to go deeper into their offices and create more of a consulting program, which I did not want to do at all, or create a turnkey online marketing division that we did a lot for them. So one of the things I did is I said to one of my employees at the time, Greg Prestes, I said, look, dude, here's the thing. This is what's going to happen to our business in the next 3 to 6 months. So what I can do is give you a severance right now. you go start this business. I'll be your number one referral. And I think like he was making more money within 2 months being out of my business, starting his own turnkey, like search engine ranking, local search business. And he's still kicking ass today. That's 6 years ago. 100% him though. Like that's all him. I do not want to take any credit for that. It was just the dynamics were shifting. And then the staff business, I sold that division. So there were things that were happening, and I thought, it's probably a good opportunity to start to transition.
Yeah. So I want to talk about Marine Essentials starting, but I know you like talking about future and current. So I want to start you mentioned some rebranding stuff that's going on.
Well, so
I don't know if you want.
Yeah, I've had Marine Essentials for almost 7 years. And at our height, we did around $30 million, a little under $30 million in 1 year, and then made a ton of mistakes on hiring and then infrastructure development from a tech perspective. So that was a few years ago. There's a few things that happened this year that put closure on some of those relationships in a really nice way. I kind of had a discussion with myself, which is like, look, I have a lot of phenomenal assets sitting right here. We're still doing, a few million a year. And the path and plan with social media nowadays to reinvigorate the business and double it and triple it, in my opinion, has never been potentially easier. I don't want to say it's easy, but I think it's potentially a lot easier than it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And so, so I brought on a couple new team members, and we're just going back at it, And so that's kind of on the supplement side. That's where it's at, and it's amazing how once you ride a bicycle, you know how to ride a bike, and so.
Talk about time collapsing. I mean, when you were starting Marine Essentials, time collapsed. So talk about in the very beginning when you started it.
When I started, I made a lot of mistakes.
Right.
I was listening to the wrong people, and I lost $150,000 out of the gate.
From doing what?
Blew up my merchant account. Well, because we created a whole product offering around giving a free trial, and at the time, a lot of the courses that were out there teaching guys were like, "Oh, you can make $30,000, $50,000 a day," and they were doing free trials. What most people don't realize, there's so many things, there's so many traps when it comes to the free trial market. And what I mean by that is I'll just kind of give everybody
Go ahead.
insight thing.
Yeah.
It's that, there's people buy stolen credit cards online and then will go in. If they're getting paid a $30 commission, they'll go in and sign up for these free trials using a stolen credit card. And by the time anyone knows what is going on, you've already paid out the commission, and the bank doesn't realize it's a fake one. You've paid $30. You're supposed to be getting your second rebill, which would be say $50 or say $69 in 15 days. That never goes through. And so I was just working with the wrong. There's definitely ways to mitigate that, but I was working with the wrong people who really didn't take care of
the merchant
relationship. No, so fraud. It's called fraud traffic. And what happens is it's just so crazy. Your listeners are gonna be like, "This is just crazy," but they'll send in they'll go now the day now would be okay, they go get 2 sales on Facebook. They put one fraud sale in, so you don't really catch it because it's only 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 5. And then all of a sudden, when you lower your risk tolerance or whatever, one day they'll throw 30 or 40 or 50 through, and you get 100 sales. And you're like, man, I'm going to be rich. Well, in 15 days, only 35 or 40% of your sales go through, but you paid out commission on 60% more than that. So this happened to me, and then, I allowed that to happen because I didn't know better. So now I know better. So we stayed in the business. I stayed in the business. I shut down that business, and I stayed into it, and I grinded it out. I hired consultants that I trusted, that I learned from, and man, I mean, the book has a ton of our stories. I have some videos up on our website, on just sharing more in depth about the health supplement business. But there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And so one of the things that I do with our consulting and our coaching clubs
Yeah.
is and I'm not pitching everybody on this, but it's like one of the things we do is we time collapse their capability of going from zero or even having some success to, it's their success. But my job is to mitigate all their risk by coaching them on my lessons and then introducing them to people who are quote unquote good in the business, So that's what we do, and I have some guys in the supplement business, some guys in the health information business. We have some clients that are consultants,
I mean, I say the time collapse because even before you...
I have a friend, Ed Clay runs a hospital down in Mexico. He's in our group, So kind of interesting,
He's amazing. I say that because before you had that campaign with the initial offer that you lost money, you would create the product and the team and consult before then, didn't you?
No.
So that was after, for the actual product creation.
The Marine D3 that took off and still does very well today, that was after.
That was after. I gotcha.
Yeah. So there was somebody who was helping me, but I didn't really realize that he was getting a piece of the action from the traffic guys on the side, and so I was like the guy at the poker table that didn't realize there was a different game going on.
Right. That's horrible.
Yeah. So when stuff blew up, I was the only one that was left with the bad hand.
I see.
Saw my money.
So the next iteration was the Marine Essentials, and talk about the first campaign because I find it interesting.
The first campaign was in direct mail. I don't know if that's what you're referring to.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Direct mailed 60,000 pieces, 2 different tests, and it pulled pretty well out of the gate. And then,
what did you send in the mail?
A Magalog, like a 16-page, full color.
Wow.
Looks like a catalog.
You went all out on the first mail.
Yeah, I spent like $30,000 on the copywriter, and then we were doing it as I really wanted to grow this company to like $100 million company. What I didn't know in hindsight was that I should have had $1 million. I should have either raised $1 million or just known that I needed or get a line of credit for $1 million. So when you go into that business, the speed of turnover of cash flow and acquiring more customers and having a lot more products to market to your existing customers becomes a much more important element. So
you didn't write the copy for it?
No, I've done most of what's online, and but no, I hired a pro level. So here's the thing. Here's a really good tip. If you're going to go into a media that, it's the whole, if you have a gun to your head, you got to make this work or else your kids are going to die, and and you're going into a new media, which is called direct mail, and you're like a pro, but that's like the pro wrestler going into an MMA ring, and he doesn't understand that you can get kicked in the head, and when you take people down, they know how to defend a wrestler, right? So you got to know what arena you're in, which actually there's a whole chapter about know the landscape, the rules, and the lies. Mm-hmm. And so we went and hired, I got a doctor involved. We had a lot, we had a pro level team.
Yeah, 100%. And another lesson learned from Marine Essentials that'd be important for people? I know there's a couple things that stick out. Interesting stuff with email drops, and then what you discover with the offers. But I'm curious for you, what sticks out to you?
Well, I'll just give one super high level, which is a great tip, is just, offer crazy offers to your existing customers right out the gate about where they could buy a lot more, like a 10-pack bundle, 6-pack bundle, and save 40%. Because here's the deal. They're in a buying mode, and they may never come back to your store ever again. So give them more offers of big stuff, and don't inhibit. Like we talk about this value ladder thing of like, of going from step 1 to step 2, step 3, step 4. There's truth to that. Like there's the awareness, there's interest, but then there's other people like hyper responding buyers like me. If I see something I like, I just freaking let me
You
buy.
just want to go and get it.
And there's about 20% of your, or maybe even 12%, maybe 1% of your buyers might be that way. But cater to them, give them more opportunity. And because they may make way more money than 70% of your other guys, and that will give you the revenue to acquire a lot more customers and profitably.
Ed, this has been fantastic. I have one last question. I know you have 7 kids to get to. You have 3 businesses. You have to get to do a full Kokoro workout today.
I already got my work. That's in. I'm good.
But before I ask it, we can point people towards the EdO'KeefeShow.com, TimeCollapsing.com. Where else should people check out online?
That's cool. That's good. Ed O'Keefe Show. If people like going to seminars, we do our Nashville event. We're planning on doing that again in 2017 and 2018. Like make that a
highly
thing.
Recommend it.
We have a health supplement intensive that we're probably going to have come out here shortly.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'll walk people through for 2 days, everything they need to know. Go check out knowfoods.com. Go get some...
KNOW.
Yeah, KNOW foods.com. Get the waffles. Or go to Amazon Fresh. Get the waffles. You're going to be like... And they have donuts coming out. Oh, my God. It's crazy.
So last question.
Yeah, last question.
Maybe it's two... one, I want to get your fun facts. But the question I was going to ask was... if there's some kind of crazy birth story with 7 kids, some crazy family story.
Oh, geez.
But the fun fact, you said you had 2 fun facts that were sticking out in your head.
I mean, crazy birth. My mom would know the birth story. She knows all. She really knows. She's like, oh, like, I don't know if I was hard coming out or if I was easy coming out.
Not you. I mean, your kids. Like you and your...
Geez. Okay, so you want to know my kids.
Yeah.
We had some crazy stuff going on. So like our first 2 children, like Michael and Grace, like both of them were impossible to come into this world. So actually, one fun fact is that like my wife might kill me for sharing this, but like
I don't want her killing you.
The last 5 kids came out cesarean section. It's 4 C-sections. Just mad.
Why would she mad at you for that?
What's that?
Why would she?
I don't know.
Oh.
Might be like, why are you sharing that? But whatever. I mean, it is what it is. I would say that I'll tell you one more quick thing about Grace. Like, so when Grace was born, she had the cord wrapped around her neck twice. She came out white as a ghost. Did not cry for like the first, like, I don't think she cried. I think they pulled her out and they immediately rushed her off.
Wow.
And so, my wife and I went down to the NICU, I think it was NICU, and the lady was trying to explain to us like the oxygen, how she was on oxygen, she's intubated, and how she's not really breathing on her own or some shit like that. She did a bad job explaining it.
That's not a good time to do a bad job explaining something, but yeah.
It really was, yeah. It was like 2:30 in the morning. And so okay, she'll be on this probably for a day or so, and then as she gets stronger, she'll be able to breathe on her own, right? And so it wasn't until like I think like around 7 a.m., maybe even a little bit, like they called our room and they're like, "Your daughter is off the intubator. You can come see her." So I come and I'm like, "Hey Nola, you want me to push you down?" And Nola was out, out of it, and she goes, "No, just go." So I went down there, and man, I'll tell you. So I opened the door, and the first baby right there was Grace, and she was crying. Her big eyes crying at me, and I just put my arms like over her, and I just started bawling. And in that moment, Jeremy, my heart was now no longer in my chest. It was taken from me.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to explain it to her the other day. She goes, "You mean I broke your heart?" And I'm like, "No. You stole my heart."
How old is she now?
12.
12, okay.
12. And so I think,
yeah.
Yeah, that was one of a very special moment. And then, after that, it's all easy. No, I'm kidding. They're all. I think the one thing about parenting that I think is always interesting is you never realize how different your kids are. Like they're just different. Like you're like, you mean you both came from the same parents, and you are just two totally different spiritual like things out there.
Yeah.
So we love it. We have a great time with it. I would say to everybody, you have permission to be kind and patient to yourself as a parent.
Yeah.
Because it's not an easy job. And if you don't have kids and you don't want kids, well, you have permission to be patient with yourself as well. So.
Ed, phenomenal. Thank you so much. Anyone who has a chance to check out what Ed is doing, his stuff, his conference, his book.
You didn't ask my fact, man.
That was, how can I top a story about you and your daughter, Grace? I mean.
All right. Next time we'll do the fun fact.
If you want to share them, go ahead. I know you have to go.
No,
okay.
You gotta make your
Okay,
list.
next time. Yeah. But this was phenomenal, Ed. Thank you so much. People should check out No Foods. They should check out the EdO'KeefeShow.com, Time Collapsing. You're a special person. I appreciate you. Thank you.
What I got, you can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sand. And right now, I feel like $100 grand.